Over the past few days, people across the United States have had enough. Tired of staying inside, tired of watching their businesses fail, they've taken to the streets to protest the lockdown. Clustered together by the hundreds, they've held up signs saying, "My body, my choice," "Defy fascist lockdown," "Freedom is essential," "Don't use fear to steal our freedom," and my personal favorite, "Jesus is my vaccine." It's in viewing these protests and reading these signs that I have but one thing to say. I really hope that none of them were Catholic. No, really. In the midst of the worst global pandemic the world has seen in 100 years, just days after the projected peak when thousands of people are dying a day and social distancing is just beginning to have an effect, this has got to be the most reckless, dangerous, selfish thing I've ever seen in my life. Thinking about all those hospital workers and public servants putting their lives at risk and seeing this, it really just makes me sick. But it goes deeper than that. I hope that none of them are Catholic, because what's causing people to protest in this way, the core ideology that they're expressing, is a sense of freedom that is far more individualistic, even anarchist, than it is Christian. And so I think it's worth addressing for the rest of us. What does it mean to be free? To get at that, let me pose a hypothetical scenario. Two people are dying of thirst. Without a drink in the next few minutes, they're going to pass out and ultimately die. The first person can choose between drinking motor oil, hydrochloric acid, the liquid inside of a lava lamp, a bottle of Windex, and a leaky battery. 5 options. The second person has clean water, and that's it. Just one choice, take it or leave it. Based on your definition of freedom, which of the two people is more free? Think about it for a second. Really get to the heart of the concept. If you're not 100% convinced of one or the other, pause the video and weigh the options. It's helpful to understand what preconceived notions we bring to a situation. Okay, got it? When I asked this question to the RCIA, the majority of people say the first person. And it's easy to see why. The first person has 5 choices, while the other just has 1. More choices equals more freedom to decide for yourself. Which makes sense, in a way, I guess. They certainly have more autonomy. But think about what you're saying by picking the first person. You're telling me that a thirsty person, someone who is on the brink of death from dehydration, is given 5 hazardous liquids to drink, and you think that they're more free than someone who's given a glass of water. I'm not sure what freedom means to you, but I don't want it, thank you. The problem is that in most people's minds, freedom is simply a matter of quantity. The more choices one has, the more free one is. To be perfectly free is to have unlimited choices, able to do anything one wants, which means that anything that limits or removes choices for whatever reason is an infringement on one's freedom. Most people are willing to give up some freedoms to live in society, agreeing to laws like not to murder each other or steal each other's property, but there's only so much one can take, which is why some people are protesting today. They are being told that they have to wear masks, that they can't go to church, that they must stay 6 feet apart in small groups. And that's just too much for them. Their choices are too limited, and so they don't feel free. They're like the person given only one choice of a glass of water. But given the scenario, isn't that actually the better choice? At that moment, we would want the water, even if it is our only choice, right? The point of the hypothetical scenario is to show that the quantity of choices is not the only thing that matters to freedom. The quality of choices is equally, if not more, important. If you're thirsty, having 5 toxic liquids doesn't make you free. Heck, having 100 toxic liquids doesn't make you free. When all of the choices are bad, against the thing that you actually want and need, it doesn't matter how many choices you have, you are not free to make the right one. As odd as it may sound, the person given only one choice of water is infinitely more free than the other because that person has the ability to choose what is good. They are able to choose something that quenches their thirst and promotes life. For Catholics, freedom is not a matter of having unlimited choices. It's not about complete autonomy to do anything we want. It's ridiculous. No, it's about having the ability to do what is morally right, the choice to do what will bring God glory and honor. As much as we value independence and autonomy in this country, believing it to be our God-given right to choose for ourselves whatever we want, even if it's bad, this is a concept completely foreign to the Bible. God doesn't want us to be independent. God doesn't value those who don't need God. Look at every single page of the Bible, and you're going to find the exact opposite value. God wants us to depend on Him, to need Him, to do everything we can to obey and honor Him by doing what is pleasing in His sight. This means a life of peace and justice, a life of loving one's neighbor as oneself, a life of caring for the common good as God's stewards. If we have the ability to do that, even if that is our only choice, then we are truly free, because we have the ability to do what is good and right. With that in mind, let's return to our protesters. We are living in a time of an infectious disease, a time of sickness that the world hasn't seen for 100 years. It is easily transmitted and extremely dangerous, and as of now, we don't have a cure. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have any way to contain it. But what we do have is the option to stay home and slow its spread. We do have the ability to keep people from high-risk groups safe by not coming in contact with others, by wearing masks, by avoiding crowded places. Obviously, this means our options have been peeled back. We can't go to concerts anymore. We can't go to the gym. We can't go to restaurants or to church. We can't do any number of things that we want to do. And you can see how some would conclude that that makes us not free. But Catholics don't see it that way. At least, we shouldn't. As a people concerned for the common good of all, as a people who wants to build a society of peace and justice where the vulnerable are protected and the sick taken care of, the best option for us is to stay home. That is what we need to do to save lives, and lucky for us, we have that option. Lucky for us, we have the ability to choose what is good, to live out what will best serve our neighbor. And so, yeah, we're free in the proper understanding of the word. We may not have the most options, but we have the best option. What more could we want? I know that life is inconvenient for many. I know that the effect this is having on people financially is nothing to dismiss. People are hurting and they want to go back to normal. They want some control in their lives. But please, please, remember that it's not just about you. It's not just about your individual rights. As a society, as a people of God, we must always consider how our actions affect others and do what is best for all. No one has a right to be selfish or to do reckless things that cause harm in others. Being a Christian means that we don't always get what we want when we want it, because it's not about what we want. It's about what God wants. The reason I say that I hope none of those protesters are Catholic is because it seems to undermine the very essence of Christianity, the freedom to sacrifice ourselves so that others may live.